I was completely clueless senior year of college. I applied to a bunch of jobs that everyone else applies to in banking and whatnot that were, I mean, looking back, it was ridiculous that I was even applying to these things, but really it was the only thing that I, was kind of concrete and I knew I could apply to. Before coming to UVA, I worked for 9 years in various, jobs, and I realized only about 2 years ago that, or maybe 3 years ago, that I felt like I wanted to do a doctoral degree in clinical psych. And I think the one thing I wish I had known was that it's nearly impossible to find the best, like the perfect job out of college. It's not possible. I mean, the goal is to ultimately get there, but it's going to take a little while. So, choose one thing that you really enjoy and, make that what you look for in a job. I think doing anything outside of school is really, really helpful, because I know when I started my job, in the first 2 weeks, I feel like my world kind of exploded because you realize all the different kinds of things you can do out there. I think the thing about grad school to know is really what you want to get out of it. I think undergraduate is a little different because, it is meant to be sort of an exploratory, explore whatever you're interested in, and, there's not really an end goal necessarily, or at liberal arts colleges, there really isn't. But in graduate school, you really have to know why you're doing it, and it's not just to sort of not work or not get a job or just to kind of build up your resume. There's really no point, I think, in building up a resume if it's not going to kind of get you closer to that. But I thought that graduate students were just basically advanced undergraduate students, and that, like I was saying before, that, the cream of the crop of undergrads will go on to grad school and, go that route, because it's kind of like the winnowing down process. You have all these undergrads and the best ones become grad students, and that's not the case. I think the reality is that grad school is a little bit more like a job. I mean, really, I feel like I was accepted to the program, but it's kind of like you're hired. Yeah. It just feels different. The point is not just about sort of doing, getting perfects on tests and whatnot. And in that sense, it's, I think, a better learning environment because you don't have to worry about those kinds of considerations. I think the thing that I wish I knew was that a lot of PhDs are very specialized in the sense that they're, in my case, it's training me to become a professor, not training me to be anything else, really. So, if I want to do host of other jobs out there, I mean, I don't need this degree. So, I mean, I think that's another thing I wish I knew. I would say, I wouldn't be afraid to, take a risk and do something that seems off the beaten path, because you can always change it if you don't like it. It's never going to eliminate you from, or, put you out of contention for graduate school later on. I mean, if anything, it's going to be helpful because you're going to be able to explain to the graduate school, I did this very different thing, and yet I'm want to do graduate school, and this is kind of the perspective I gained from doing that. The first job out of college makes everything so much easier because it just, it becomes less theoretical and a little bit more like, okay, this is cool. I'm learning what's out there, and really all you have to decide after that first job or in that first job out of college is, do I like this or don't I like this? And if you don't, you change directions and you try something else, and that's totally great. You have many years to try other things, and if you do like that, then you kind of figure out, can I go deeper into this field, or is there another facet of it I want to explore? So I think it becomes much easier once you're just doing something.